Who are you? Who am I? I ask myself the same question every day, and I'd like to think I am the nexus. You're probably wondering why I'm riding a unicycle as I say this, and what this has to do with food, energy, and water, and the nexus that connects them. Well, first off, I was a circus clown, the youngest graduate of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College at the age of 13. I traveled with the greatest show on earth, living on that circus train with elephants and lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and chimpanzees and horses and acrobats from every country and political persuasion when I was 14, and that's where I learned to juggle and to ride a unicycle. It leaves my arms free to carry books and to wave at friends and family, but riding a unicycle, as I do around campus, and riding a bicycle to get to campus, and for longer distances, my commitment to riding the bus, and for still longer journeys, driving my hybrid car, is the way I demonstrate my commitment to reducing the energy portion of my ecological footprint, a key nexus concept. The unicycle is symbolic, and a good symbol too. Why use two wheels when you can use just one? A 50% material reduction. How many things can you do that cuts your impact on our planet by half? But perhaps just as importantly, the unicycle demonstrates a commitment to go the extra mile and follow the poet Robert Frost's advice to take the road less traveled, literally and figuratively. In our current society, we nexus thinkers are too often a rare breed and are often considered a bit odd. Get over it. Get used to it. Embrace it. Dare to be different, at least until systems thinking and the use of appropriate technology comes so naturally that everybody does it. Riding a unicycle sustains my commitment to living the life in balance that sustainability and justice demands. And when you add in the juggling that we learned in clown college, well, it gets pretty complex. And it keeps you thinking about the right way to keep all the balls in the air. The green ball representing food, the red ball representing energy, and the blue ball representing water. Our job is to juggle these parameters and keep them all in the air. Now, a better juggler than me would be able to juggle 4 balls at once for longer than I can. And society has tried to juggle waste management, represented by this black ball, along with our challenges in food, energy, and water, but found that we inevitably, well, drop the ball. And that ball called waste, that turns out to be at the heart of our environmental problems. So my life's passion is finding ways to eliminate waste by turning it back into food and energy and water in an endless cycle so that there never is any waste, ever. And that leads me to the focus of my scientific research here at USF and with my nonprofit organization that I founded called Solar Cities. I didn't just go to clown college, I also did my undergraduate work at Harvard University in biological anthropology, exploring the cybernetics of animal communication and the evolution of complex societies, and studying marine mammals and great apes, working in aquariums and zoos, and living in the jungles of Borneo. And my master's and PhD degrees were at UCLA, studying urban planning, exploring regional and international development and environmental technologies, living in the slums and shanty towns of Cairo, Egypt, where I developed innovative ways to create reliable and inexpensive solar hot water and urban food to waste to fuel and fertilizer biogas systems out of recycled materials. That work and the commitments I made when I was a graduate student, since even before the turn of the century, commitments back in the early 1990s to live off the grid with my self-made urban composting toilets and gray water and biogas and solar electric and hot water systems and bicycle generator systems and urban gardens, living for years at the urban LA Eco Village, working in inner city schools and in the slums of Cairo and with refugees in the city of Essen, Germany and in the Middle East, were what made me into a National Geographic emerging explorer back in 2009. Ever since joining the Nat Geo family, I've had the privilege to travel to dozens of countries every year, to the slums of Nairobi and the bomas of the Masai Mara in Kenya, and the elephant-rich bushland of Botswana in the Okavango Delta, to the frigid lakes of Alaska and the conflict-torn areas of Palestine and Iraq, to the favelas of Brazil and the rural villages of Guatemala and Maya, Mexico, to share dreams and ideas and solutions and the simple techniques that we've discovered for helping create a sustainable and justice-oriented solar civilization here on Earth.
I'm George Philippidis, and I develop renewable energy and renewable products for a more sustainable future. What inspired me to get into this area is the need we have to become more sustainable in our everyday life. We simply cannot go on the way we do business and we function today. We utilize a lot of coal, a lot of oil, and all those result in the release of huge amounts of carbon dioxide. We are going to suffocate, literally, if we do not take action. And that's where we turn back and we look at what Mother Nature is providing to us. Algae is a very interesting system. You can find them pretty much everywhere. Now, algae have a unique capability of growing very fast, absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere. This is a great way of getting rid of CO2 by having these little creatures, algae, eat CO2 and in turn produce for us very useful products. What I really enjoy doing is closing the gap between a university research and the marketplace. Many ideas are great, but they never make it to the marketplace. I want to bridge that gap, so my research is very applied. I'm trying to find out, in this case, how we can take the algae and instead of just growing them in a lab in small scale, grow them effectively outdoors in large amounts so we can produce the huge amounts of fuels and products that we need to supply our economies. I'm very passionate about this work because I see it as being a key to becoming more sustainable, as key to producing renewable energy and also minimizing the waste we generate. We can simply not go on like this anymore. And I think that if I can contribute, if my team, if the entire university here can play a role in contributing, in turning our life into a more sustainable one, then we will have accomplished a lot. Here at USF, we are turning research into practice so we can have a positive impact on everybody's life.
I'm Dr. Joseph Dorsey, and I'm making food production more sustainable for the future. Initially, I wanted to do quantitative food production, so that's what I studied. I ended up being a clinical nutritionist in Ivory Coast in West Africa, working with malnourished children. There I got an opportunity to see not only poor nutrition, but also how the environment affects food production. And so these things such as hydroponic technology became very real as a solution to dealing with hunger across the world. Every day we feel that hunger in our bodies that says you need to eat. So you can imagine if food production is somehow stunted because of climate change. I think to me that's the major issue. On one level we have to deal with climate change to make sure that these impacts don't necessarily happen. But on the other hand, if they are continuing to take place, how do we adapt ourselves to that process? And things such as controlled environment agriculture is an important thing to consider. By 2050, the world will have almost 9 billion people on this planet. Everybody needs to eat. So how are we going to feed these massive populations when almost half the world's population lives in the cities? Obviously, the cities would be the places that we could start creating a new type of agriculture, an urban agriculture, an agriculture that goes up and uses space. And you can actually have a much larger yield of crops using vertical farming. And also it'd be important for jobs. Sustainability is not only about the environment, it's about our economies as well as our social structures. Sustainability is about people, but it's also about working in harmony with nature and learning from nature and incorporating the things that nature offers us to continue to move us forward as a civilization, but also preserve the planet as well. What we really want is people to be understanding that they can apply this in the real world and make a difference for generations to come. I'm giving my students the tools to move forward into a future that needs them to be a part of this new wave of sustainability. What we're trying to do at Patel College is make sure that people understand that growing the future is the future. Here at USF, we're bringing change to the future of food.
My name is Kubrab Goro Michael. I work to develop technologies that will help provide safe drinking water to the people in the world. I come from an arid area where people really struggle for water and where they didn't have proper sanitation. So this has led to huge public health issue and also to really conflicts between communities in trying to get the water. I think we're looking at the same issue even in the developed world as well now. Because of water scarcity, we have water wars. So that led me to think, what can I do in terms of addressing this huge global challenge? Currently, we have close to 1 billion people without access to safe drinking water, and also 2.6 billion people without having safe sanitation. One of the technologies that we were developing towards providing safe drinking water is a low-cost biosand filtration system. So that is being used at household level in many parts of the world. And currently we are trying to modify that and make it more efficient, but also be able to remove multiple contaminants in one unit. Population is growing, economy is growing, and then we have also climate change. All these are leading towards limited water resources, water scarcity, but the demand is growing. So we are having a huge gap between demand and supply. And how do we address that? If you're talking about water sustainability, then it's all about managing the limited water resource in a sustainable manner. So we need to look at the water supply, the wastewater, and the stormwater, because the wastewater is 99.9% water, and we can reclaim all that. By considering this integrated approach, we can be more effective and make sure that we are using the limited water resource we have efficiently. I am really passionate to really work in making some contribution towards addressing this issue. I think what I have done in the past 17 years tells me that we are really progressing towards achieving these goals, and I will still keep working on this area.
The first of the projects is one I wake up to every morning, so I get to blend my night dreams and my waking dreams each and every day. Here at the Rosebud Continuum on a lake in Land of Lakes, Florida, I'm living right next to the place where we can live our dreams. It's a quick half-hour drive from USF directly north. The family that owns this property, Sonny and Marianne Bishop of the Irvin Bishop Construction Company, know all about building dreams because they build things for a living. Right now, they're working with the local community and with the graduates and students and faculty from the Patel College of Global Sustainability at USF Tampa to create a center for environmental education best practice that will welcome school kids and lifelong learners from all over the world. It's called the Rosebud Continuum because Irvin Sonny Bishop, a former NFL football star, grew up on the Rosebud Indian Reservation, a member of the Lakota Sioux First Nations. The idea of the Rosebud Continuum is to work together to find real solutions to the kinds of problems that, for example, Native Americans have faced and are still facing today on the reservations, and which are afflicting and affecting and will continue to affect more and more people around the world if we continue to view the world as a zero-sum game, and if we break the cycles of food, energy, and water regeneration. At Rosebud, we've been invited to bring the Solar Cities solution front and center, turning food wastes into fuel and fertilizer and growing healthy food again along with the clean energy that they provide. These are just a few of the ones that we are involved in the Patel College. We encourage you to get involved and get engaged and find more locations where people are putting their money and their hands and their feet and their fingers where their mouth is, and share them with our growing community of systems thinking superheroes. You too can go and be the change you wish to see in this world. It truly is a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away. And while you're dreaming, remember these lyrics from John Lennon's Imagine. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. Join us in the Nexus. today.